NASA has released a study on UAPs, or UFOs as we all know them as. Has the James Webb Space Telescope discovered a world with potential life? And the Astronomy Picture of the Year has been released. Let's take a look at it on the new, very special A&C. This should be the show. For 15 minutes straight, I should just be sitting here drinking coffee and talking about misinformation, like how planets are made out of jelly beans and stars are made out of coconut clusters, water vapor, and wishes. Alas, can't do that. Coffee today is the Cinnabon coffee, the K-Cups Cinnabon coffee. It's quite delicious. Well, NASA has released their sort of commissioned study on UAPs. I don't know why we had to rename them. But, sorry, folks. NASA finds there's no evidence of aliens or UFOs. Sorry, kids. But what it did say, I'm not going to get into the weeds about exactly, the fine details of it. Let me just kind of boil this down to what NASA has released. So yes, NASA has announced the results of an independent study into how they are going to deal with UAPs, which I will still call UFOs because I'm not quite sure why they decided to rename them. But before I even get started with this, it should be noted and pointed out that the independent study was not commissioned to evaluate any existing reports on UAPs. This is because they have determined that there simply isn't any data to evaluate past events or any evidence to indicate anything truly alien is present, which is quite convenient, don't you think? But the commission was instead charged to see what resources NASA could bring to the table, to the old table there that they talk about, on the systematic and scientific investigations on UAPs. Now, they said that so far there is a limited number of high-quality data surrounding incidents, which renders them as unidentifiable. The problem is that UAP reports are typically single sightings and lack multiple measurements. Now, these reports often lack sensor metadata, such as exact time, type of sensor, noise characteristics, and other details. There's also a lack of baseline data to help understand whether an event is truly unusual. Well, currently, to help with this, NASA has Earth-observing satellites that are always monitoring the planet, but their images don't really have the sharpness to resolve these UAP events. These are actually small events, I guess, and these satellites aren't really made to zero in on such small portions of an area. Well, anyways, they can also monitor background conditions, and they can provide the missing baseline data, so it can help out a little bit. Now, there are commercial satellites that can view a UAP event, but they don't have the ability to be everywhere at all times. The commission has deemed that the majority of the UAP events can be explained, but mainly they lined out an approach for NASA to deal with UAP reports in the future. They proposed a system for civilians to report UAPs since there isn't really one currently, and NASA has also created a new position to oversee the study of UAPs, which I applied for and did not get. I didn't really do that. So the James Webb Space Telescope hasn't discovered this planet because we already knew it was there, but it was able to analyze the atmosphere and some of the properties in that atmosphere and the chemical compositions, and discovered something that could point to potential life on this planet. So bad news to kind of good news. All right, so what this is, it is a planet called K218b. Again, if you've seen the last episodes there, the star is the A, I guess, and every exoplanet discovered from that point is labeled B, C, D, so-and-so. So this planet is called K218b, and it is about 120 light years away from us and 8.6 times as massive as Earth. So it is a large planet out there. but believed to be terrestrial. Now, it can also be found in the constellation of Leo. Now, this is a massive Earth-like object that we've known about, but the James Webb Space Telescope was able to examine the chemical composition of its atmosphere and made some rather interesting findings. To start off, discovered that the presence of carbon-bearing molecules that include methane and carbon dioxide. Now, this means there is a potential for a hydrogen-rich atmosphere and a water-covered surface. To make matters sound even better, we know it orbits around its star within the habitable zone. It's a fun word to say, habitable zone. Earth is obviously in the habitable zone. This is the zone where the planet is not too close to the star to burn up and not too far away where things would freeze. So a nice little Goldilocks zone, as they is sometimes referred to as. Now, the best part about this is that it makes people excited, because this possible detection points to a chemical or molecule, I should say, of dimethyl sulfide. Now, why is this so cool? Because only living things produce it. Now, again, this is the possible detection of dimethyl sulfide, right? So it looks promising, but it is the possible detection. Now, most of the DMS in Earth's atmosphere is emitted from phytoplankton in marine environments. So, it's too early to tell, but the signs are looking pretty good that this very large planet, this Earth size, well, 8.6 times the size of Earth, but Earth-like planet may harbor some form of life. And now I want to bring up the last thing to talk about here. And you're probably asking me, you probably want to ask me about the aliens recently discovered in Mexico. Have you heard about this? I'm not going to talk about it too much, because the person that discovered these aliens also was the same guy that discovered aliens in Peru, which turned out to be these bodies of deceased people, young people. And, well, some of them were discovered to be, I'm trying to remember here. I think the ones in Peru were, that's right, they were dolls, and they were covered with something that was to make it look like flesh and dirt. So they were manufactured, made up, is a hoax, basically. So he discovered those, and so now he's at it again with these two new aliens in Mexico, and there's no peer review for the findings of this. Apparently they've x-rayed them and found eggs inside or something. Very skeptical, and until there's actual peer-reviewed evidence and a closer look at these things, I don't think so. I don't think so. No. You're not gonna fool me. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. Fool me again, you're not gonna fool me again. Well, the image of the Andromeda Unexpected, the astronomy photograph of the year, is by Marcel Dreschler, Xavier Strautner, and John Sainty. If I got all those names right, I'll be very proud of myself. Now, what we see here in this image is a teal-colored plasma arc next to the famous Andromeda galaxy. Now, this arc is ionized gas that was only discovered earlier this year. Scientists are now investigating this. They have dubbed it the Strautner-Dreschler-Sainty object, as it could be the largest structure near Earth. Now, it's named Andromeda Unexpected because the team did not expect to capture this plasma arc. They were just trying to find and just trying to take a picture of the Andromeda galaxy and spotted this hazy smudge at the edge of the picture. Now, astrophotography is a very tricky thing. I've tried it myself a few times, just taking pictures of the nighttime sky. But the image you're seeing here is actually taken over 22 nights. So the image was take 22 nights to take this image, 110 hours of data, and they used several and various different types of filters and exposure times to capture the final image, put all together into one big image. Now, you can visit astronomy.com for more of these images that were considered for the astronomy photo of the year. Well, we recently had our Beautifica show. It's quite a smashing success. We also had the CNME concert here, which is from LSU, the Constantinides New Music Ensemble. So there's a lot of interesting things going on at the planetarium in the museum. And I think for the last part of this, I want to kind of encourage you all to subscribe to our YouTube channel, to follow us on Facebook, to like our content, and kind of follow us on Instagram, because that's really how we alert the public when these new things are taking place. So to stay abreast of the situations and the upcoming events and all the cool things that we have planned at the museum and in the planetarium, please kind of follow us on social media. I'll have the links down below here for our social media links. And next week, I will see you again, unless I take a vacation, which probably will not happen. So, see you next week for another Astronomy and Coffee.